Today, I want to remind you of something about yourself that the world has tried to make you forget. And for the most part, I think the world has succeeded. But today, I am here to remind you of this fact. And if you want to know what that is, stay tuned. Hi, welcome back to Sada Supreme Wellness. My name is Sada Sharon Vandalise, and I am a mind, body, spirit, holistic health coach. And I help single women in midlife to reinvent themselves, to find all the pieces, to bring back all the pieces of who they are so that they can become the full best, greatest version of themselves in the second chapter of their life, that they can become the authentic version of themselves. That is a mouthful, and it is deeply, deeply, deeply in my heart to do that for myself and for you. Let's go on this journey together and become the greatest version of ourselves and walk this planet in divine feminine power so that we can uplift other women and inspire them to do the same. Now, the world has made us forget that we as women, we are a divine creation. And why do I say that? Because the divine has chosen our vessel to bring forth humanity. Think about that. We don't take time to think about the important divine role that we fulfill in the existence of human beings on the planet. The divine has chosen our vessels to bring forth new life, to sustain human beings, to sustain the production, the forthcoming of human beings on the planet. We do that. We grow human beings in our wombs. And I think at some level it is a bit threatening to the men that want power. So I'm not a feminist. I know some men call me a feminist. I'm not a feminist. I don't even believe in that. I think it's a hot mess, to tell you the truth, because it has confused women and it has made women think that they have to fight for equality, and it's a whole competing and comparing, and that's not what we're supposed to be doing. We are not men. It is true that in today's world, men earn more money per hour than women, right? Men earn more. Yeah. I mean, I never really got into the reality of it because, I mean, what's the point, right? I think it starts with you. You can't change the world, you can change yourself. So we as women have to hone into our power, our divine feminine power. And when we do that, then it will reflect in our experience of life. We will get what it is that we have coming to us. What I'm gonna say may land, it may land in a way that makes you upset, but I just wanna remind you of some things, and I also wanna inform you of some things, because we were created differently. We bring forth the life. So we are this amazing apparatus that knows how to build another human being. Yes? And that is an honor. It is a major divine honor to be allowed to do that. And it requires attention, and it requires a certain lifestyle, a certain way of living. You know, we have a different cycle than men. Men have a 24-hour cycle. We have a 28-day cycle. And a lot happens. A lot of hormones switch and fluctuate, and we become more sensitive at times. So we need to place ourselves in environments where we are in peace. So whatever we do, we need to always do it in a way that supports our nervous system, that keeps us balanced and relaxed. Whatever we do, we always have to make sure that we do it in a way that keeps us balanced and relaxed. So I don't believe that women should do everything that men do. I think we can, and better. I think we can do anything a man can do and better. But I don't think we should. I don't think we're supposed to. I think we're supposed to let men do the things that they were built to do, which is hard labor, going out there in the world and, you know, doing that outgoing stuff, because our energy, we are built to receive energy, and men are built to put out energy. And we cannot ignore that. And because we ignore that, we get sick. We throw ourselves off balance because we ignore the fact that we are feminine beings, that we have different requirements than men. We cannot live our lives focusing on what men do and try to do the same. We have somehow developed some kind of complex, woman complex. So anytime a man tells us that that's man work, or we get inflamed, we go crazy. But it's true. Certain things are for men to do, and other things are for women to do. We have our roles to fulfill because we were created differently, equally, but differently. There's a difference between that. Nobody's better than the other, but we are differently created with different purposes and different roles and different talents. And that seems to have been forgotten. If you study the indigenous people, then you see how women used to move, how they would dress, how they would take time to nurture their feminine energy and honor their feminine energy. Oh my goodness, it is the most intoxicating energy that ever existed, and we just throw it away. We just throw it away and want to act like men and do everything that men do. So I want to urge you to really, really, really stop and pay attention to the way you live your life, and ask yourself, how much time do you spend on honoring and nurturing the feminine side of you? And how much time do you spend in your masculine energy? And you're gonna see that the feminine energy is completely neglected. Completely neglected. I mean, every day I see how much this world operates on masculine energy. and how women take on roles that they shouldn't be taking on. And it is a shame because it was not that way. It wasn't that way in the very beginning. You know, a lot of information is kept from us. But if you seek, you shall find. And I am a truth seeker, and I like to find the truth. You know, I question everything. Everything that I'm told, I question. And that is why, you know, at a very young age, I decided that I wasn't going to let a religion tell me who I am. No, I'm going to find out on my own who I am. So, why is this so important right now? It's important at this time on the planet because I feel like divine feminine energy is under attack. I have never seen so many women so far away from their femininity. It is humongous what is going on. And so much more that I don't want to verbalize because I don't want to upset you. But women's behavior is just alarming. It is alarming how confused and lost we are as women today. So I want you to remember that you are not a physical body alone. I want you to remember that you are not a body part. You are not your booty. You are not your boobies. No. You are a divine being, blessed to go through this life in a divine feminine vessel. The vessel that brings forth life. And that vessel needs to be honored and respected and treasured. It's your temple. Now, when you go, physically you go to a building as a temple, you would take off your shoes because you don't want dirt in the temple. You would be quiet and respectful. You're dressing a certain way, right? Because you have deep reverence and respect for the temple that you're going to walk into, where you're going to meet the divine, where you're going to pray or meditate. And that's how I want you to see your body. I want you to see your body as the first temple that you enter. It's the very first temple that you enter. So I want you to think about that so that you can treat it with deep reverence and deep appreciation and deep respect, so that you will think about what you put in it, right? You would think twice before you put something in it. You would think twice before you allow yourself to think toxic thoughts. You would think twice before you allow yourself to say toxic things. You would think twice before you would allow yourself to dress inappropriately. And what is inappropriately? Just dress in a way that does not honor this vessel. You would not dress in a way that would provoke a certain response from the opposite sex. Because when you dress a certain way, revealing all your divine parts, you're not attracting or inspiring divine respect and appreciation. You are inspiring lust, disrespect, disregard. Because it's the way you present yourself that you're going to be perceived by others. And when you walk around half naked, you will never be perceived as the goddess that you are. I want you to remember that you are a goddess walking the earth. It may sound crazy to you, but it is the truth. We are all divine expressions of what we call God, of the creator, of the divine creator, of the divine intelligence. So we are gods and goddesses, but we don't know it. So we act like a fool. And we act way less. We access way less of our abilities because we don't know that we are gods and goddesses. I want you to remember that you, as a divine feminine, you are held to a higher standard. Don't do what men do, because you are held to a higher standard, because you have a role that is divine. You have to bring forth life. That is a divine purpose. And you hold a bigger responsibility on this planet. To bring forth life, you have to be an example. You have to be an example of the divine. So show yourself worthy. What do they say? To whom is given much, much is expected, something like that. You've been given a divine role to bring forth life. So you are expected to act accordingly. Remember the tremendous power and grace that is wrapped up in that ability to bring forth life. And I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it there for now. I have a lot more, but there's going to be more videos because I think it's time. It's time right now on the planet to bring back divine femininity, original, pure, authentic divine femininity. So until we meet again, I want to wish you divine love and peace.